Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and information on Path of Exile, starting with Gauntlet's stats for the Rapture Gauntlet that's just about ended. And you can see first up the character class pick rate and act completion rate, and you can see that the majority of players actually chose Templar, which is an interesting choice, probably dictated by the Guardian Ascendancy having some very powerful tools to level up. Also the Duelist that hasn't seen a high pick rate but a very high completion rate, at least midway through the campaign, probably signifying people wanting to play with the Gladiator at least enough to get into some kind of ruffles. But the Templar is the one that gets the most completion in Act 10. Also the Ranger, which starts out at a very high percentage of players playing, has a very low percentage completion of the game, but even Act 1 is very low, meaning that most people that actually went in the Gauntlet just to kill Hillock and get the free gloves actually chose Ranger, and yeah, that's what I did as well, so I can understand. Also, we got some stats on the endgame boss lethality, so we got the number of instances and the death rate, so you can see how few feared have been spawned, with about one getting not getting killed, although the death rate is worth mentioning that it doesn't take into account the fact that people can actually live and survive but not complete the encounter, so the failure rate that GG didn't put here is probably much higher than the death rate. The other interesting stat is that Uber Elder or Uber Eater, Uber Elder, Uber Maven and Uber Xark have all been spawned just once, and the player spawning them didn't die, so yeah, that's pretty crazy. And as far as the deadliest monsters in any campaign act, Hillock of course dealing the most damage here with about almost 100,000 kills. Yeah, everyone that chose a melee character for Hillock really had a bad time, and other than that the others were pretty understandable, like Val Oversoul with all the Gauntlet stuff is definitely very deadly. Kitava, Tsogoth, of course, Arakali, Doedri, I mean, this is pretty standard, I suppose. And also we got the fastest times. The first table is for the fastest time with characters created within 1.5 hours from the event, with Ben coming second, and yeah, close enough the others. You can tell just how much of a difference there is between the top players, taking about 4 hours in such an environment, and even like 15 or so players below, it's already up to 6 hours. So the difference is pretty big, even with these small player base samples. And also the other table that gives the fastest time overall, so after the league had started, with Ben taking to spot just by a little bit. Ben actually winning the Gauntlet again, even though there's no mention of that here. This is just some statistics which are actually pretty interesting, even though they don't definitely tell the whole story here. Still, we also got the race event winners for the Path of Exile 2 race in the Last of the Druids, and the incredible thing is that the overall fastest time is now 2 hours and 16 minutes, which is very impressive considering how long it takes a normal player to actually complete 4 acts in PoE2, and seeing that GG hasn't done much to make the play faster, and Power Creep hasn't had much of a time to get in there yet, this is definitely speedrunners getting much better at the game and improving their times. Also, this is a mercenary, so yeah, unless there's been very high buffs to this class, this is another proof that speedrunners are absolutely getting good at the game. Hopefully we're gonna get a bit of a faster time for the average campaign play, or at least get some gems unlocked sooner, because the time it gets to actually play any gem is very high right now. So we'll see how that goes. Definitely getting some PoE2 news soon, hopefully next week, because honestly these weeks of news with nothing in them are pretty bland. And yeah, I guess that's all for this week. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. That was all. I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.